Yeah,
We're on.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're on. Yeah. It's October 2024, 11:30, for the county weed board, for Burley County weed board agenda. This meeting is now called to order. Roll call, please.
Munson,
here.
Schwab,
Here.
Bittner,
Here.
Pocket.
Here. Approval of agenda.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Just say Munson,
Here. Yep.
Schwab,
Yes.
Bittner,
Yes.
Pocket.
Yes. Consideration and approval of the August 19, 2024 meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Motion is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Munson,
Yes.
Schwab,
Yes.
Bittner,
Yes.
Pocket.
Yes. First item up, County Weed Officer Darren Johnson to go over website setup update, roadway spraying update, soil conservation discussion, chemical sales and ordering, insurance update, and chemical applicators 2025 contract review. Darren?
Thanks for coming today, guys. Just figured we had to have something like this, so you know that I'm not doing something. So
Well, that's important.
it is. With the website here is, the first thing on agenda. The website that's been, or the old one that's still on there is very vague. It still has the NDSU extension as the main contact area, things like that. I visited with Mary Sanger and she said that it'd be fine whenever I want. We'll make a date and I come in, we'll set it all up the way I feel will be, user friendly for the people to find our programs, for contact and just general information. What I'm thinking on the website is to have possibly an area for some frequently asked questions and have some answers for people that, so they can just look on there and avoid, phone call here and there, or whatever, which I don't mind phone calls. Have our lap programs on there, a list of noxious, the list of noxious weeds, the correct address that's out here then, email, of course, office hours, and then in the spring, I'll have a time frame, probably thinking that April, May area where, I'll have times for the distribution center for getting the chemical out to the people that want to do their own spraying. So they'll have a head start compared to this year. Have that on there. My daughter said I'm supposed to put my photo on there, but I don't want people to be subject to that. And then the contract for spraying also is something on there.
Two suggestions for the website.
Okay.
Is one, and you can probably tie it back to the counties as well, but calendar of events.
Okay.
So you can throw approximate dates out there so people can just easy tab and find out what you're up to and some important dates, at least ballpark. And then I would find a good weather app to put on there, and NDSU usually has one. Utilize that because that'll coincide with what the weather's doing, which coincides with approximate dates for getting chemicals.
Oh, right.
So, and a lot of producers will track that pretty closely. So
Sure.
I would reach out to NDSU Extension and see what they're using.
Yeah, I sure do that. Any other ideas for the website?
I've got an idea for that website, but I'm gonna let Brian explain it. You won't be able to post on without going through,
Mary.
Mary,
and he's gonna explain that to you.
Right. Mary's made it very clear, I'm sure, to you that, she's willing to help with everything that you need to do to, access the county's website. Right now, there's essentially 4 people across the county that have the ability to make some changes on the website, and we're keeping that under tight control.
Okay.
Mary is one. Obviously, she's the main one. Pam in HR is one. Tom with the IT department is another, and I think Greg from up here at the highway department is another.
Yes, sir.
We're doing that on purpose to make sure that there's, real tight control on the website, but Mary has expressed that she met with you and talked about helping in any way she can. So I guess when we're talking about a website, we're talking about additions to the county website for the weed board, not a
Correct.
separate website.
No, correct,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Just so that you know, it's nothing personal to you or anybody else as far as not being able to just jump on there and make changes.
Okay.
It's for, you know, basically good information technology control for the county. So,
Right, yes,
cyber-
and that's my intention.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, and I want to recommend to you any applicable forms or technical information or whatnot, make sure to provide those, because we're trying to make an effort to where everything is as much as possible transparent and available through the website.
correct, that's my intention also, yes.
So like all the user forms, you can be in one tab, that'll be, here's all the fillable forms,
Correct, yeah, they can print them out and it has all the information.
or fill them out online and submit them that way.
Correct. Yeah, and then I've already got guys that mail me one, because they're not familiar with that sort of stuff, the
Sure.
technology.
Yeah,
So,
that's understandable.
Yeah, so try to fit it out for everybody.
Mhm. Okay.
We also have to have Mary make that website more accessible.
Mhm.
It's not, you know, right now, our departments are listed in small blue print, they're links, and we're not even on it. Right, that I know of. So, you know, are we filming this too?
Yeah, well, it's because it's not up
And
and
that is screen,
Well, we had some technical issues and I don't have a long enough cable.
but we are filming it.
Yeah, it's.
yep, this is posted.
Thing about it is that, we have to remember, a lot of these people that call in here are retired, you know, they got their land rented and stuff, but they want weed control and they're not as bad as me as being bad at a computer, but they find it hard to. So we need to get that brushed up a little bit. It's technicality, but it's of great importance to them. So,
Absolutely.
Anything else with the, website?
That's what I had.
Okay.
Thanks for your input on that.
Roadway spraying update.
Okay, roadway sprayed. As of yesterday, we have managed to spray 39 townships out of the 47. So with the late start we had, wind, weather, you know, all the way around, I'm really happy with what we've accomplished with the year so far. We're, haven't had any complaints as far as roadway spraying. There's one, you know, that wouldn't have wanted it sprayed, but that's the way it goes. It's noted for next year. All my inspections that I've done, I've been as far up, I made it up by in the wing area. I looked at the roads up there, looked at the gravel pits and stuff up in that neck of the woods. The cover on the spraying was done really well. Well, yeah, I mean, there's some elm trees, of course, that are gonna come up whenever they feel like it, but for the most part, very good job. And then in the Century Code, August 15th is when the highway departments are usually, you know, they're gonna be out mowing off the road tops, you know, the ditcher tops and such, and they had it started at that time. So when they started their, you know, there were some roads that were probably not sprayed at that time in certain townships further to the east. But we're still covering them anyway because there are, you know, the like Wormwood and such like that, they have a bulb there. We're still running through them. There's still some spurge areas, you know, that are out there for fall. So we're covering that. And I was talking with the sprayers that we're gonna see we're just gonna play the weather. As far as, this next week, looks like it's gonna be in the 80s again. or whatever, so I think we're gonna go, I'm gonna try to run one more week so we can be in that 41 township sprayed. So that's what went on there. Is there any questions? I mean, that's pretty much what we've accomplished with the roadways.
I think that's remarkable that you made it that far.
Yeah.
It's far, far more than what I
Yeah.
thought,
We'd have made it if it would have been for the wind.
right?
I mean,
There's,
We can't do anything about that, though.
pardon me?
yeah,
We can't do anything about
No,
that.
but I
That's-
mean, you know, the people aren't complaining. I haven't gotten a call in 3 months.
mhm. It's cause I'm taking them now.
Well, I know.
You say
But
thank you.
sometimes they go above you.
Oh, yeah, sometimes, but they always come back.
But I really, I haven't gotten a call. And.
But he's like the Maytag repairman now, he's getting lonely, so.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's about it. I can forward some to
He's
you.
good at BSing with people out there, and I like that because, kind of get a one-on-one relationship, and they deserve to see a weed officer out there, you know. And at times even a commissioner, you know, and nobody's complaining. All
That's a
right,
good
Good
thing.
news.
I'm sure you've got a few complaints, but you take care of that.
Actually, not really. Nothing that's. I mean, the people that understand, and those that don't just want to be heard. Bottom line. So and express their concerns and then we move on.
Right, next item up, soil conservation discussion there.
What I've had, I spoke with a gentleman with the soil conservation whom I've known for a number of years. In their application of trees, it shows that, you know, people should be taking care of the weeds and such, because I've had a few, I'll say, where people have them come in and they'll put these tree plots in, and it's all fun and games to take care of them for the first year or until it gets hot when the weeds want to grow, and then all of a sudden we're going fishing on the weekends or whatever, and they're not maintaining them. And most of the time where they're putting these trees is a boundary type of a situation, so the weed seeds are in the, you know, opposing land or adjoining land. So I've been talking with, Chad is who I've been talking with. That's the stuff that's in their brochures and stuff like that, or their contracts, is there's nothing there to really, with any meat to it, to make sure that they are taking care of and maintaining the weeds. So just talking with him, we're gonna look at possibly adding something to it that, and there's, I think they got like 3 to 5 different contracts for different, I mean, they got CRP ones, they've got, you know, different programs out there. So we're gonna look at trying to, that way, he doesn't really have much to stand on, and I do in a sense, but I want to coincide with him so I know these areas of these tree plantings. So I can go in and may not get to them all, but just to confirm that the people, you know, this is not lay the law down, but just let them know that it is their responsibility. I mean, most of these programs is like, you can get these trees planted, this is what you owe, this is that, and they sign it, that's it. They don't read through it, so they're not aware of what they need to be doing. But there are those that do a great job of maintaining their trees, but it's just this few here and there, you know, and it's something that has to be taken care of all the time, you know, so. Just gonna visit with him a little bit more and see if we come up with something on that. It's just an issue that I had, and I just wanted to pinpoint a little bit on that. So,
All right, next item up, chemical sales and ordering.
sold. Main Chemical sold, Milestone. Second in line was Freelix, which is 2,4-D. had a couple guys, move into some high noon for their weed control problems. Sold, sold about 125 quarts of Milestone, but that's, I'm selling some yet. Some guys are still doing some fall stuff, so, I visited with and did a bunch of checking up on them, as far as people that did applicate it themselves. They did a real good job. I seen really good, spraying technique, if you want to put it that way. I mean, they really covered their grounds good. And it is nice that they're doing it. I mean, they're not, I mean, it's their property. They should be taking care of it like that, and they're doing a great job. Let's see here, and then, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much on the chemicals sold, so, I can, then with the chemical order, in September here, this past month, both Van Dietz and, Nutrien had a September sale or sale, let's just put it that way, for some Milestone and High Noon. I did make an order, so we're in on that. The company I did go with, we'll hold on to it till next spring. He's gonna, so we don't have that stored, and there's a reason for that, and that comes up later. That's something I just gotta call in the spring and get the rest up here. And the order should be what we're gonna need for our programs for next year and our roadsides and state and everything else. If we're doing state highways and get a contract or whatever, then should be adequate for that. I plan on ordering next spring, because there was no sale to save our dollars, that, I wanna add on to basically our arsenal. I wanna add Grazon Next. For you, with the chemicals, Milestone's been around for a long time. It kills, let's just say, 100, say 80 different weeds. Grazon Next, well, with the Milestone, you can add 2,4-D, and that actually makes Grazon Next. To get people to add a different chemical so the resistance doesn't get into these plants, I want that. I'm adding that so that it's simpler then. Here's this chemical. You don't need to mix it. Just get your chemical and, figure out what you're doing with your spraying system. You add your chemical, you're good to go. And then with the High Noon, it's Milestone with Rinskor. That one there kills about 40 over Milestone, different weeds. So Grazon Next is like 120, High Noon will kill around 140. So it's just a step up, so the people can kind of figure out where they want to go with the power of weed killing that they can do. And High Noon is, I mean, it's good on wooded plants too. I mean, your buckbrush and whatnot, but High Noon, you can add, escort to it. You basically got open site. So, I mean, it's a good, good product. And High Noon is what we're spraying along the roadways this year. With High Noon and Tordons, there's a little Tordon in there with their Liberate, and that's why we're getting the effects on the ditches the way we are, the control. Another thing with the chemical orders, we've, in the past, from what I've seen from order forms, it's been in 2.5 gallon containers. And in order for these, for people that are coming in to purchase, I'm ordering in what I can. High Noon comes in 1 gallon. Grazon Next is 2 gallons, and then Liberate, even the surfactant, nobody wants to buy 2.5 gallons because it doesn't take a lot of surfactant per chemical tank. So I got 1 gallons of those, so hopefully people will start adding that because that's an enhancer for the chemical. It's a drift, helps with your drift and everything else. So I'm ordering everything in that I can in 1 gallons to make it user friendly. And then, like I said, I'll be adding the Grazon Next also. But that's a 2 gallon deal, but it's right in the middle in that Milestone area or chemical. So, but that's pretty much what I have as far as the chemical sales and purchasing the chemicals for right now.
Any questions? Commissioner Schwab?
Darren and I have talked about this, and another reason for those smaller containers is, and the shifting of the chemical stuff, and he made a good point to me here a while back, is that when the farmers are out there, they don't like to mix chemicals, you know, like Milestone and then measure out and put in something else, you know, whether it's Plateau or whatever the hell they're using. And, that'll probably encourage them a little more. I suppose it's gonna be a little more expensive, you know, the smaller bottles.
Not really. When you look at what the money you're paying, but the more, you have more killing power on different weeds, which you may be paying a little bit money more out of your pocket. But, you know, like going from Milestone is, to High Noon. Your High Noon's more expensive, but if you look at the number of weeds that you add to it, it's actually a very good savings. And you're gonna get more coverage with the High Noon than you will with Milestone.
So would you recommend High Noon instead of Milestone? Because I've had a problem with Milestone lately on my land.
Yeah, I've had guys, a lot of guys come in and they're like, what, they changed the chemical in this stuff? They don't kill it like they used to, and now I'm mixing it stronger, so you're going from 4.5 acres on a quart to 2. Well, if you're not getting that, you're better off going with a bigger gun, basically. So yeah, the High Noon works well. And even Graze on Next, I mean, I've used, and I'm still using Graze on Next that came out, and I think,
How do you spell that?
what's that?
How do you spell that? Graze?
Just Graze on Next, GRAZON.
Well,
On
a
Next.
lot of things too that
Graze on.
Graze
Next.
on Next, NEXT.
we have talked about that, if you use the same chemical over and over and over and over.
You get resistance.
You get resistance.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I actually switched some chemicals this year because
Yeah.
I just wasn't getting the kill.
Yeah.
But a lot of the farmers don't
Right.
realize
So what,
that. Kinda wanna educate them on that.
yes. What is the mix that you're using on the highway right of ways now?
I wasn't prepared for that. I have it written down because we went over that at the get-go. Cause there's 2 different size tanks on trucks. So,
Sure.
but we did go over that. I couldn't tell you right off.
You
What-
could send it
what
to me or
is-
something.
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
Basically, the reason I'm asking is because of compatibility between chemicals.
Oh, sure.
You know, because I mix them up in a glass jar and I go, okay, well, those work together, but
Right,
I don't really want to do that
right.
any more than I have to. you know?
Absolutely.
Are you talking about the Sweet 16?
Yeah, whatever the,
Oh, the Sweet 16. That's, I've got that. It's posted. That's,
We're using that on the roadways, aren't we?
nope, we're not
You're not?
using, we're using High Noon, Tordon with a Liberate and Blue Wing for the dye. That's what we're using on the roadways this year.
Gonna use the same in the next year.
Don't know. We'll just, I mean, there's options out there. I mean, the Sweet 16, they had used Sweet 16 in the road ditches prior, with the, won't say old, but the, past, sprayers. So that's why I thought, in talking with, the sprayers, it's, well, let's switch it up and we'll just go with this year. So, I mean, that's what we're talking about, you know, just the same old, we'll not get the results. So, I mean, if we use High Noon a couple of years in a row, and then we can always go back to the Sweet 16 or, you know, whatever we decide at that time. So, and the High Noon ordered in, we can go with the same spray this coming year with the High Noon, or we can go to the Sweet 16 because High Noon's part of it. So it's still a chemical that can be used. It's not just gonna get stored away and have to sit there a year until we decide to use it or whatever. It'll be used up. Sweet 16. Okay, anything else?
All right, next item up, insurance update.
When we moved up to 2020 52nd Street at the old, department there, old sheriff's, or the old county department. We moved our chemical in, got it all set up with our spill kit, the whole works. But it was in the back of my mind of how is this insured? Because of the chemical now. I mean, the sheriff's department, they got their airboat in there and whatever they have all in there, that's their storage, but what did we have if it was prepared for that? I spoke with, Donna, and she explained a lot of the coverage, but it's insurance. So I don't know how you guys are with insurance, but I got along with her, or I got from her what I anticipated. The coverages for our insurance, as far as the spray board or weed board and what, it's for spraying, it's for transporting the chemical, whether it be a pickup or whatever. It's the coverage that if we're transferring or moving chemical and pickup, and we get a spill and a cleanup is required, all that kind of thing, which it would be. Also then, there's an area or a terminology of breakdown. Now, this one here is, if the chemical should freeze, this is on, and I'll get to where it's going, but if the chemical should freeze, they call it a breakdown, and then an adjuster would come in and estimate what they'd pay out as far as the chemical, because I mean, they're not gonna pay out the total, because it's however they would adjust, adjust it. And, the dollar amount, what she gave me was like 37,362. And, in my book, I don't know if, I don't know, if at one time of the year, maybe that's, adequate for the coverage of what the chemical is valued at. But then if we do store over the winter because of sales in September, we're adding quite a bit of chemical price to that. And I don't know how about, or we agree, or, on, is that adequate? Because I don't want to see the chemical freeze or something, and then all of a sudden we're out that. Then that puts us behind for spring. You know what I mean? It's because then our orders are different. And I had something else here to go with that. What was it? Oh, that goes into the LAP or Target grant. Visiting with Donna, we are able to run a backup or have a generator with a heat source that if the power does go out, because the sheriff's department doesn't have a backup generator at all for their sheriff's department or those buildings. That will be coming when they go through their update or their renovation, and they're gonna do a bunch of work, I guess, to it and bring it up. That's when that generator will come in, but for the time being, I don't know, if we, through the Target voucher, visiting with NDDA, Samantha down there, we are able to purchase with that grant money, a generator heater, so we do have backup. I don't know if it's something we should do, but I've always been the kind that's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And I would, then if that was a purchase that we would do, then I'd be in contact with the sheriff's department over there, that if they do lose power, that they would contact me and I'd run in and get the generator going and whatever else it need to be.
So that's a grant?
It's a grant, yes.
What are the strings on that? Is there a cost share?
It's a grant, that's all I know. It's 7,500. Actually, the second sheet in your paper, it's an idea for target funds here. It's money that can be used, in this with any of these here, particular items or categories. And when I brought that up, she actually called in and a generator would be one item that would be accepted with these funds.
7,500 is probably not adequate. But I think if you can utilize a grant to get towards having the generator and getting it wired in, because obviously there's a furnace in the building already,
It's a natural gas or propane, whichever they have out there.
right? So you would basically, what I do at my place is I have a generator and I am all set up to where I just flip the breaker and
Right.
I go online with my generator, and then when power does come back on in the area, then I just shut it off and flip the breaker and be done. So I don't need anything extra special. I just had to have an electrician wire in the cutoff, you know, the real thing that you need. And it really wasn't very expensive.
Right.
So it seems to me, depending on the value of the chemical, that you might as well go ahead and apply for the grant.
Okay.
I guess the question was, what is the value of the chemical we're protecting in that
Well,
roughly? I understand.
Right, it'll vary. I mean, we can have anywhere from, you know, I've had 2 orders that are, around that 20,000. And so, I mean, depending on how much I take down for, for disbursement along the roadways and stuff, we could be in that area. I would say that it's pretty close to what would be in the distribution center at any given time. And then going back to like that generator, yeah, you're talking about having it wired in and everything, but we're renting that building or that space. So I don't know if it would be, I wasn't thinking, as far as something as, I can't remember what the heck them generators are, that advertise all the time, where they wire it in and hard drive it in there. Because the building that we're renting is old. And I don't know if I've heard that they might want to tear it down sometime. And I don't know if putting that kind of money into it would benefit us a lot. Cause I mean, it depends on the period of time that the power's out, I mean, it's still the heat that's in it, depending on temperature, of course, and wind and whatnot. The chemical isn't gonna freeze in possibly 2-3 hours, 4 hours, depending. So I'm just thinking that something smaller, more conservative, I would say, that a guy could just, turn it on and know that it's there,
Now, the question is with that grant,
Mhm.
we were to attach those grant funds to the generator. And if that building were to go away down the road, or what's the language of the grant as far as stipulating the use or length of use for that specific reason?
That I don't know.
Okay,
But
that's
I'm
something-
talking like just a portable generator that we can have on site that I can pull it out and get the okay or whatever, just have a hole, just drill a hole, put some rubber grommets on and have an extension cord, be able to go through and plug a temporary heater with a tip over shut off on it, something like that, And I mean, if I have to sleep on the floor, I'll do that. I don't care. Just as long as we don't, lose our chemical. Cause that'd be a hit to the board and the officer and the people in
Yeah,
general.
just check the language on the grant language, because if it's no longer needed, if that asset's no longer needed for that purpose, then
Okay.
there could be some language issues on the grant. So just double check on that. And beyond that, I would be in favor of moving forward with that.
Well, these generators don't cost a whole lot of money.
No.
No, they're, but get a real one, not a Chinese kind of thing. I mean, I've got some Hondas that are quiet. I own 3 generators. Got a couple Hondas that are pretty quiet, probably more than what you would need for that as far as size.
So
And
then
then I
what
bought
about
a
a
smaller.
5,000-watt generator for that space, I'm guessing would be.
Yeah, and then I bought a dual fuel one here last year because we've actually had more problems with our generators sitting around.
Absolutely.
That's been our biggest problem, and we've had to, You know, we keep carburetors on hand and whatnot, so if the carburetor, is plugged up or something, then we can just swap them out, but you have to keep up with them. You can't just buy it and park it there for a year and think that you're gonna go ahead and use it.
No, maintenance is key. I
Well,
start
just
mine,
running them, you
yeah,
know,
I start
just,
mine a couple times a year.
Yeah, yeah, if you don't,
Well, if this grant is $7,500 and do we need anything else here? Because a generator isn't gonna get close to that.
Right, well, I
well, a
mean,
generator and a heater, I mean, you know, you'd want something bigger than a milk house heater.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
If they've
you know,
got
you gotta-
Well, the good cord's $100, so
right,
Yeah.
it adds up.
If they've got, if they got, if all you need is a generator to run the blower over there.
the
maybe
igniter.
The ideal way would be to plug into their furnace over there.
Right,
Yeah,
And
and I've thought,
have the
I've thought
sheriff's
that.
department pay for the hookup.
Well, it wouldn't.
no, I don't know that would be anything.
Again, back to the
It's-
language of the grant,
Yeah.
is the grant should cover the hook
Regenerator that, yes.
and the electric, you know, to.
That's, so what I did was the same thing though. I have my generators and I have the cutoffs and the plugins and the whole thing. So a 6,500 watt generator runs my entire place,
Right.
you know, and that's my heaters, not only in the house, but also in my shop. I have, my shop is split in half and there's a heater on each side, big ones, you know,
Mhm.
forced air, and we've never had a problem with running that. So that little bit of an expense in doing the right switch, because you never want to have a case where you're
Backfeed.
you're back feeding on a power line. You absolutely have to do it right. But that's just not very expensive.
No.
And that way the whole building can be, and regardless if it's gonna be torn down at some point in the future or whatever, the cost is so minimal to just do it right. That way my generator runs outside and it plugs into the wall.
Correct.
Outside.
Right.
So you keep it inside so it's heated until you need it, and then you take it outside and run it, and then plug it in. So I have an actual plug-in
Right.
to the place with the cutoff thing. So, it's cheap,
Yeah.
and really, we're not gonna have a problem with the cost of that if we ever tear down a building.
Oh, and right
It's
there,
so
I mean-
insignificant.
Where the hanging heater is, the switch is right on the wall as code. And, I mean, you just run another pigtail out,
You know,
and when before you start, you shut that switch off, you have your backdrop or your backdraw that's on the back of the furnace, like you're saying, and you can run her and go, you know, and
Yeah.
it'll heat, it's a bigger unit, so I mean, it'll definitely heat our area that we're renting, and need be a guy can open up the back side door and heat outside that room, cause it's a big enough heater.
right. It seems pretty simple to me. I don't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't-
it's nothing complicated, it's just, just looking and looking into it that, I believe we're looking at keeping that facility for years to come
Years.
and whatever, so I mean,
Yeah.
just wanna have that backup on that, cause.
As Commissioner Balkin said, check your language. You gotta know.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's something that even requires a motion, because it seems like a consensus is just do it.
Yep. Do it.
All right, next, anything else on insurance? Karen?
No,
No, I had some other questions though on insurance. Who is that you're talking to about insurance?
There-
What are we?
Her
You
name's-
mentioned Donna, but I don't know.
Yes, she was, who actually, is the only person I could contact or that I got, and I, to get a hold of on it through down at the auditor's office, I asked about the insurance on that stuff, and this isn't the lady that they gave me for a contact, and that's
She
who I
a
spoke with.
county employee or is this an insurance company?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think she's county, because she mentioned that there was a couple other people that I tried getting hold of her yesterday for a couple other questions I had for her, and, she left a voicemail towards the end of the day, and I didn't catch it, and she's out today. But, she was gonna check with a couple other people insight on the insurance to make sure that, you know, that if whatever questions I would have had for her, she'd have been more prepared, is what it was, so.
I think it'd be more than the dirt, wouldn't it?
That's why I'm asking the question, because NDRF would be the source of insurance on this thing.
North Dakota Insurance Reserve Fund in the dirt. And that's who covers
Yeah,
cities, counties, parks, state,
yeah.
you know.
So I can't imagine it being, I think you referred to like a $37,000 premium or something.
That's what the coverage was, but
Oh, the amount of
the
coverage.
amount of coverage, correct.
Oh, not
So-
premium.
No,
I
no,
misunderstood that.
no, yeah, I'm sorry, but there again, I mean, that's why I'm asking if this would be sufficient to you guys or not, because we haven't had a distribution center or storage center before that I'm aware of. Because most of the chemical was just with the spray company, they were responsible, hence the contracts and stuff like that.
Just in your math, what have you come up with as far as inventory and value of inventory that would be stored there?
Well, and there again, I mean, it's up and down, I mean, if I'm able to make orders in the
Max,
fall.
if it's max.
I mean, it's not far off. I mean, if it was around that, I would probably be a little more comfortable in that 45,000, you know, just to bring it up that little bit, because it's just the amount of chemical that will be coming in, you know.
Price of chemicals.
I don't think-
What, do you wanna?
I'm thinking 50 grand at a minimum, because
Yeah.
as a contractor, our insurance is
Right.
way higher than that. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't do anything without $1 million
Right.
policy, and I
But I
think
mean-
ours is like 3 million plus an umbrella.
Right,
Yeah,
So I don't know that you
I mean,
know, we're
at
kind of
50,
splitting
that's-
hairs here, but
right.
your
I lost for-
50,000, yeah, 50,000 is fine.
And I don't know what the premium would go up.
Well,
to,
and that
whatever.
covers more than just if it were to freeze, right? So-
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
this is all with,
Yeah,
it's
so, I mean-
transporting it and stuff, you know.
Yeah,
all
so
that
by the
stuff
time we
comes
get
into
done
play.
with, you know, cleaning up a spill, and by the time we get done, if something happens, the generator would be covered under that and the
Mhm.
heating units, so. Yeah, I would say get the quote for the 50 and
Okay.
can bring that to
Yeah.
the commission. I think we're good on a consensus on that as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be that bad, so.
I don't think so
No.
either.
talking a
Yeah,
couple
we-
dollars
I mean,
going from
we
37,000 to
I have that much insurance on my boat, and it's okay.
You can insure
We could talk about hail damage if you want, getting new car insurance, but.
Right. Right.
Anything else on insurance?
Same thing.
I do not have anything else on insurance.
All right, chemical applicators, 2025 contract review.
All right, going into, in your brochure, or in your packet there. We have the Burley County Weed Control contract. I don't know if there's any need to change anything on it, or if we're just gonna run with the same contract. There are a couple things that I have in mind, because of the size of Burley County and the amount of work that, in spraying it takes for the county. I've been pondering, but asking, that would it be beneficial to have more than just the one spraying company? In the sense that, you know, for the roadways, we got our lap program and we have state highways. And in the past, with the spraying application, I'm not saying anything bad. We got one spray down, especially on our spurge. And it was usually anywhere from June to August for them lap programs. The ditches I'm not worried about, for the roadways. But in them lap programs, there's a lot of people want their, you know, they have spurge and they want that. To go in and spray spurge once in the spring, I don't feel is doing justice. I think that a fall spray is also needed. Because in the spring, you're trying to get to the roots, but you're avoiding the seed. But in the fall, when that plant wants to live through the winter, I've always had better, I mean, it seems that with my experiences, and some friends of mine, that fall spray is very important. And with the running, with the amount of, interest that I have with the LAP program, there's gonna be a lot of work in it. There's gonna be a lot of spraying, cause I mean, you get up around that wing area stuff, they've got a lot more spurgeon. I mean, we're fortunate to have a lot necessarily here compared up there. There's some bigger areas. And sprayers can spend some time there. And that's with just having the one contractor say, he's trying to take care of the roads and fit these in.
So how would you think about breaking up the contract then?
Well-
One would be for roads and one for
One for
these spot
lap.
areas?
Yeah,
or- okay.
yeah. Just kind of, it's just something I'm bringing to you guys. It's just an idea because I think it would be beneficial to have something like that. And in the bid, they can bid the whole works. And I'm just running past, but bid the whole works.
Two different packages, but they can bid on both.
This is what the roadways, state and lap, that's all been it's one big, unit as a whole. And they had to take on the whole thing where if we have them come in, the people that are, the contractors that will be bidding, if they bid it all out, we aren't, we don't have, just take the lowest bid or the highest bid or whatever. If we feel that this company can do the roads better, because of equipment or whatever, then we have another contractor that can go out and do the lap instead of trying to cross over all the time. Cause I mean, you can be out spraying the roads and then all of a sudden one day it's like, well, let's do lap. Well, they're backtracking here to there to go to get these guys. So I think if we had one to do the roads and one to do the lap programs would be beneficial. That's my thought. I don't know how you guys feel.
I think the way the chair just made the comment is you have two bid packages. You can bid on both, you could be awarded both,
Right.
but you have the lap program as one bid package, the roads as another bid package. See how they come in.
Right. But I
That
mean,
makes sense.
it does make sense, absolutely. But what if we have somebody just bid the roads or they all bid the roads and nobody bids that lap? Then what would be our alternative then?
Send off a rebid.
Yeah, rebid
Just-
it.
Okay.
Make sure that bid gets out early enough so we do have the opportunity to rebid it
Okay,
time wise.
all right.
Well, you got guys like me out there that we've been doing commercial spraying for a lot of years. And we just don't monkey with the roads, but we do land, like, historic sites and things like that.
Mm.
So we're set up with different equipment than what you use for doing roads anyway.
Correct.
I would have no interest in doing roads as a contractor, but I might have, I'm not saying I would, but I might, because I have that equipment, would be more inclined to bid on something that uses this other equipment
Right.
because it's different.
Whether it be side by sides and.
That's what, yeah.
I understand, yep.
I mean, we have one set up on an ATV, one set up to go on the back of a Bobcat Toolcat, that all-wheel drive.
Mhm.
It goes up and down those earth lodges, mountains and all that stuff really well. So we've done a lot of that, but I think there's different equipment and I don't see any problem with splitting up the bids.
Okay.
Because some other, there may be guys that are set up like us.
Well, I got you to fall back on, so I'm good. You can do that. No worries. I don't know about the earth lodges, but there's hills and mountains out there for you to drive over with
Yeah.
that, so.
Well, technically speaking though, if, a farmer wants to do some areas in his pasture
Mhm.
and Fertilon couldn't get to it, they could hire another sprayer and qualify for the lap program as long as it was a licensed sprayer.
Mhm.
So maybe this winter, what we need to do is there are sprayers out there that are spraying, like you said, they're independent that
I've had
pass you
several.
the stuff and hey, if you want work, we can give you.
Mhm.
do the work, but they've got to meet specifications.
Oh, yeah, we've
Right.
got those big tanks that
If
go
we
on the
don't,
truck.
this is if we don't get a bid on it.
But I do have interested
there's a-
parties.
Yeah.
There's another deal on this lab program. It pays up to $1,500 per landowner. Do we wanna keep paying up to $1,500 and go like, say, $1,000 so we can help more people? Or do we wanna leave it?
I don't know.
My thought,
I don't know that I'd cut back on
Yeah.
that because, you know,
So how far?
pretty soon you get guys like me who are gonna say, you know what, I'm not pulling in there.
No, not
I'm
for
just
that,
not,
right.
Well,
I'm
no,
not even gonna
it's
look at
it's a
it.
1,500 match,
so it's 3,000 total.
so it would be a $3,000, but the thing about it is.
You're
They never
maxing
kept,
out the-
they never kept the records on the amount spent. You know, a flow chart. So we have no idea, you know, we might be going along and have all these people come in and say, got a passenger here. We run out of money to do the match.
Well, we need to do better record keeping to make those decisions.
Well, yeah, but we have no history.
Right, well, we gotta start developing the history.
We're doing that.
I would leave
Yeah.
it where it's at because that's not a lot, and if we run out, we run out, but then we know where we're at for next time.
Right.
Well, and at that rate,
Well,
as we all know, nothing's getting cheaper and nothing has
Right now,
been
it's first
cheaper.
come, first served, and, you know, that's something that you can get out on the website.
Yeah.
See, and technically, that's one of those things, that we, I believe, pay the full bill and then we get 50% reimbursed from the
Yeah.
town. I don't know. So, you know, depending on how that lab program was run and stuff like that, if, you know, we get things going, we may have a lot bigger demand for it. So we gotta kind of keep that in mind down the road.
I think we can address that after
Yeah,
this coming season.
Mhm.
I don't think that lab program is ever run right anyway.
Don't know.
But
Well, we're gonna find
because
out.
we don't have records. We don't have.
Yeah,
Actually, yeah.
that's sad.
That's gotta change. That part has to change.
Yes,
You have to have better records and better, because otherwise you're just guessing.
Right.
but I do know Carl. Did you know Carl Brown?
No.
He was spraying with a spray coupe out there. He's a guy you might want to talk to about that. And I think he worked for the county and then he went, when he retired, he went out and he sprayed, you know, on this lap stuff, and he could probably give you an idea.
All right, anything else?
Also with that, what dates, in the past for our contracts, for our, then the next sheet on the back there, it's our, notice of bids. This is what I got out of what I have. The dates and everything will be changed, of course, but will we run, what date should we run these bids to where they can send in their bids? Is what I'm asking.
See, I want to go back. Are we still doing stipends?
I was just looking at that. I
I
don't
think we
buy,
knocked that out.
I have not heard, know nothing about it.
Is Fertilon isn't,
Well, no, there is, oh, I'm sorry, stipend. The contract that we did, for this year, there was a stipends on there.
it was.
Yes. The amount, I couldn't tell you. I do have the paperwork, of course, but there was a stipend on it because of, you know, you get out there and wind blows up and it wasn't supposed to, especially if you get up in the wing area with all the wind towers up there. It seems to blow up there every day. So I mean, it's just one of those, but yes, there is, in the stipends, there was a number written down for that. Is that something, you know? I mean, that might be,
Well, I'd like,
Something, but I mean-
I'd like to see that, just use there, but that
yeah,
stipend.
it seems like kind of a giveaway, and I'm not sure what would be the excess. You know, when we bid something, we bid it,
there it is.
you know, So I don't know why it's even necessary.
Okay. I mean, like I said, I have it in records, but,
Cause you're essentially paying these guys by the hour, right?
correct, yeah,
I mean,
it's,
we're not-
right.
So they're getting compensated if they drive out
They
there.
click and they're
Right.
driving, and then they click when they're spraying. There's,
Yeah.
they give
And
it.
Yeah, so they're covered.
And they're covered when they drive back.
Yeah, they're, when there's
So,
travel time,
see,
so.
I actually don't.
But
Yeah.
this is like,
So that makes the stipend redundant.
yeah, it really kind of does, yeah.
I don't think there's a need for it.
So consensus to remove
Take
the
it out.
stipend portion
I
of the
would,
contract?
Yeah.
Okay, we have consensus.
because your expenses as a contractor are in
Yeah.
your bid, you don't.
They're yours.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, if it costs me so much to maintain a truck over the life of that truck, that's my problem. I don't. You know, it's part of the cost of doing our business.
As far as the dates, we would want,
You talking about the bid dates?
yeah, bid dates.
I think these bid dates should be in the middle of November.
I believe the one,
These guys can get ready.
the one prior, the last one that, I don't know, November to December, I think is where that was at for these bids. On another slip that I did see, you know, I mean, but, I mean, we can set up the date at any time that we want.
Our contract with OSI stops at the end of this month, doesn't it?
October 31st.
Right, and then that's time, anytime after that is when we can put out the bid for next year.
Correct.
And the biggest bitch was that they need time because if they get the contract, they wanna get different equipment and they want a 4-year contract, right?
It's a 4-year contract, but it's
To make-
renewed every year.
Yeah. Because if they're only gonna bid for 1 year, nobody's gonna bid on it. So at renewal.
So,
The contract's for 4.
yeah,
Yep.
But each year it is updated.
Yep.
With inspections and everything else,
Right,
make sure that.
so how much time do you need at the end of the season when their contract ends or whoever's contract it might be at the time ends? How much time do you need to go through the paperwork and get a good handle on?
Well, hopefully I don't procrastinate and leave it to the very
Well,
end, you know.
Well, because you're gonna need that information for putting together if there's any nuances that have to get changed in that contract
Mhm.
for the following season. So you need a month?
That's an excellent question.
So it's the end of-
I'm
it
new,
would
so I
be the end
mean,
of
I'm just
October.
gonna feel it out, so I mean, until I
Yeah.
get through,
A season.
I need this next season. I learned a ton this short season, but this next season will give me.
Tell you what, why don't you
a better
think
idea.
on that and we'll come back to this, but I would be probably a month for this department to gather information, get all the records put back together, do an assessment, and then get the bid out probably November, well, December first.
And,
December
November.
1st.
Yeah, December first and bid closes December 31st.
yeah.
Or the
It-
first, I think the dates the way it worked out was it worked out where the bids were, due on the first meeting of the month during.
January.
For January, yeah, that's generally was, you know, like, go from December 1st to January, it'd be the first Monday, cause then the
Right.
bids have to be at the auditor's office for the meeting there, and it's open at that time.
Yeah, and then we could do bid review in the 2 weeks and we would have the contract in place by that second meeting in January.
Correct.
They'd have a meeting January 6th, be the first and the 20th.
Yeah. And that's,
The sooner in January, the better, because
yeah,
it's always that deal, you know, well, we get the contract. And as a matter of fact, the outfit that's working for us now said, you know, that's the reason why they didn't bid on it, because they didn't want to
Well,
put. they're gonna-
January
they have
1st
to get the
or
equipment, so.
20th would be,
So we want to
The
give
award
plenty of
date.
time.
yeah, that would be the award date.
So they don't wanna
January.
have bids. 20.
Yeah,
Okay, so bids in or received
Yeah, bids go out December 1st and,
December 1st and to January 6th.
yep,
Okay. And then to be awarded.
on the 20th, January 20th. I think that's workable, because that gives you enough time
December
to
twenty
review
twenty-four.
everything. And if we need to make some changes in that, what that bid package looks like, that will give you an opportunity to,
I'll be,
Get that
that should
information.
be enough time to look it over and
Okay.
all that. Okay.
cool. Consensus on those dates?
Sounds good.
Schwabi, that work for you?
There's still so much stuff to do. You know, we're talking other business, right?
Not yet.
Nope.
No.
We ain't at the end
We
yet.
haven't gotten there yet. We're just, getting a
We're
consensus
just
on the
talking about
dates,
the dates on this.
It's on the bid
bids.
package.
on the bid package.
Gates, you know, we can figure that out.
I think we're
But they
already,
yeah,
I
have,
so
think we're already on the path.
Yeah,
they have to be around December 1st, you know, these guys, to get these things
Yeah,
out.
well, but I don't want to short Darren on time of gathering all the information, doing a review of this past
I'll
season.
come up with a manager.
Well, there you go. All right, so
Well, we'll see, boys.
we're good on those dates, so
Are you good on it?
tentatively set those for now.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting everything set up that I can get, you know, the month, basically the month of November. You know,
Yep.
is what it'll be, and then going, you know,
Yeah, because you're gonna need a month to go through everything that the last year entailed.
yeah.
So the last season
What I-
entailed. All right, next item up, other business.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh,
The other,
Whatever. The next interview starts at 1, so I gotta get back down to city county buildings.
oh, okay, all right, well, thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
the other business that I kind of want to touch on is that, you know, we just do the passage roadways, but I think that we need to also do it, and I talked again about it, that there are places that aren't noxious weeds that we need to spray, like behind guardrails and stuff. And, make sure that the people understand that they're gonna spray. It shouldn't affect them. I mean, it's more work for them. But just as a policy that we take care of that, or else we have snow problems in the winter,
The guardrails, I agree,
you know.
just spray what we
Get pretty-
can, because guardrails are normally around a water source. So the chemical we're spraying can be sprayed up close, not in. Where if you got your guardrails, you're gonna have water sources there, so that would be almost a situation where that would be a separate application at one time or another with a whole different chemical setup and have to go to those areas. And unless there's, yeah, unless there's, a side tank option where they can have that set up, so when they get to those guardrails, they can do that application and then move on with their roadways. You know, there's options for that too.
And that's something we could build into the bid package as a requirement.
As we go, and,
On the road.
you know, that's just part of me working with our contractor that we get, so. And what
I
else?
think it needs to be done.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it needs to be done.
Well,
As I see the guardrails, the new guardrails out here along Apple Creek Road is where I drive the most, but I mean, we don't want those weeds getting up there.
No.
I've seen some guardrails in the county where weeds go through,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
and then pretty soon you don't hardly see the guardrails.
yeah, the bindweed and everything.
So the
stuff
thing
else.
is, I think maybe this is more kind of a little contract change that also includes the guardrails, because technically we're only supposed to do the right of way. The guardrails are right of way.
they're in the.
Yeah, they're in the right of way, so,
I think it's something we need to specify. You're going by and there's
Yeah.
rails there. Wouldn't, right?
that can just get put in the bid contract.
Yeah, and I think you wanna, don't just say noxious weeds, because there's weeds. weeds that are growing there that aren't necessarily on the noxious weed list, but
We
they're
spray,
pretty
yeah.
heavy duty weeds.
Yeah, just part of spraying the
That
right of
has,
way is
that has,
spraying
that has come up at times, while it's not a noxious weed.
Yeah, I
It
want
may
it
not be a
sprayed.
noxious weed, but it's a safety deal too.
Yeah, well, you get those
Yeah.
big things with those elephant ears or whatever,
whatever the
big
hell
old
them
pigweed
things
or
are.
whatever, but
Well, on the other side too.
it
is,
might
you
not
know,
be,
Milkweed.
Yeah.
well,
Well,
anything. I mean, they just,
they're adjacent to waterways, so where there's waterways, there's critters. If you got a big weed source there or that is obstructed, then they're gonna utilize that. Then our insurance rates go up.
yeah.
I'll add that as part of it.
Okay. Anything else, Darren?
We're on other business now?
Other business? sir?
Okay, just a little rundown. I took part in a couple conferences this year. I went to one up in Carrington. And I also went to the North Dakota Weed Control Association up in Washburn. Both very informational. Met a lot of applicators and officers and everything at these, and gathered a lot of information from them also. Guest speakers and stuff that they had were from Montana. We had one at the NDWCA from Montana, Texas. I mean, it was just to see the whole realm was really nice, you know, and learned a bunch there. Can't speak enough about the food. That was good. And then I've met with Bill Walker. He was at the Washburn symposium. And I met with Tom Hendrick. Bill Walker's from Nutrien. Tom Hendrick is from Van Dietz. They're the two suppliers that I'm using, that we've been using. Tom's gonna be retiring. He's got a gentleman, Rex Etchelman, I believe is how it's pronounced. He's gonna be taking over his job as of 3 days ago, October 1st. Met with both of them at the NDSU office. They were up here, so I went over and got to know them. Really good there. I have upcoming events in January, the 21st. It's the Wide World of Weeds workshop. That's in Fargo. That's a 1 day morning, just a 1 day morning to evening. Then in October, there's the North Dakota Weed Control Association. That's in Mandan. And then February, there's another meeting for them also right in Bismarck. So that's my upcoming stuff that I have for whether you call it knowledge or.
Did you get an opportunity to meet with Merlin Lathol?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Okay, so-
yeah. And I've spoke with
Good
him on the phone
resource.
a couple.
Okay.
Yes, yeah,
Good.
he's a nice guy, and we're already, I mean, I'm already talking about going down and looking into his beetle program that he has just south of Lake Chita
Mhm.
and such like that. We're gonna touch base this spring. I wanna go down there, and I actually have probably it's either 3 or 5 people that are interested in getting some beetles and for their spurge areas, because it's drainage areas, lots of trees, all that kind of stuff, and they're interested in that. So I'm gonna get my nose into that a little bit and see how we can better that, you know.
Well, that
make
might
it-
overlap with some of those tree plant areas that have been an issue as well, so.
Yeah, there's a lot there. Let's see. Yeah, that's the beetle part. And then I had just a question, like on my county phone, just to order in some, like, there's apps out there. I don't know what my limitations are on my phone, but there are some apps out there, whether it be the weed identification ones or just some apps of that nature, if that's fine to purchase them and put them on my phone. So I have that, just, it's a resource situation is what it would be for me.
So,
I'm okay with that, but I would also look into, what's built into a lot of phones now is the AI or some of the AI programs, because a lot of apps are
Oh,
going to wind up going away because of artificial intelligence.
okay.
So if there's an opportunity to get ahead of that,
Yeah,
instead of being redundant, I would take advantage of that.
and I would recommend you probably clear that kind of question with HR you know, because there's bound to be county policies about what you can and can't do.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, you would want to have an app that can help identify weeds. I mean,
Right.
we
I
use
have
that
books,
sort
but-
of thing. Yeah, but I mean,
You're not hauling a whole bunch of books.
yeah,
out.
but it's easy to point your phone at it, and know that
Yeah.
what that is, and that's a good thing.
But like I said, with the AI, a lot of phones, you don't need the app, so.
Okay, I will do that. No,
And just want to make sure, like I said, that it's consistent with Burley County policy and
right, yeah, I'll get a hold of HR down there.
Any other business?
I have none. You gentlemen have anything?
All right, with that, this, meeting of the Weed Board is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks for the good work. Appreciate it.
Yep, you bet, thank you.
Thanks for the recording and getting